Alright, this is my second video of me reading the sixth part of The Color of Magic. And Two Flower, I don't want to know. I do want to know. Two Flower, he was lost. He knew that. Either the building was much bigger than it looked, or he was now on some wide underground level without having gone down any steps, or, as he was beginning to suspect, the inner dimensions of the place disobeyed a fairly basic rule of architecture by being bigger than the outside. And why all these strange lights? They were eight-sided crystals set at regular intervals in the walls and ceiling, and they shed a rather unpleasant glow that didn't so much illuminate as outline the darkness. It's an evil TARDIS, that's what it is. And whoever had done these carvings on this wall, Two Flowers thought charitably, had probably been drinking too much. 4 years. On the other hand, it was certainly a fascinating building. Its builders had been obsessed with the number 8. The floor was a continuous mosaic of 8-sided tiles. The corridor walls were were angled to give the corridors 8 sides, if those walls and ceilings were counted, and in those places where part of the masonry had fallen in, Two Flower noticed that even the stones themselves had 8 sides. "I don't like it," said the picture imp from his box around Two Flower's neck. "Why not?" inquired Two Flower. "It's weird, but you're a demon. Demons can't call things weird. I mean, what's weird to a demon?" "Oh, you know," said the demon cautiously, glancing around nervously and shifting from claw to claw. "Things. Stuff." Two Flower looked at him sternly. "What things?" The demon coughed nervously. Demons do not breathe. However, every intelligent being, whether it breathes or not, coughs nervously at some time in its life. That is fucking true. And this was one of them as far as the demon was concerned. "Oh, things," it said wretchedly. "Evil things. Things we don't talk about is the point. I'm broadly trying to get across, Master." Two Flowers shook his head warily. "I wish Rincewind was here," he said. "He'd know what to do." "Him?" sneered the demon. "Can't see a wizard coming here. They can't have anything to do with the number 8. The demon slapped a hand across his mouth guiltily. Two Flower looked up at the ceiling. "What was that?" he asked. "Didn't you hear something? Me? Here? No, not a thing," the demon insisted, jerked back into its box and slammed the door. Two Flower tapped on it. The door opened a crack. "It sounded like a stone moving," he explained. The door banged shut. Two Flower shrugged. "The place is probably falling to bits," he said to himself. He stood up. "I say," he said, "is anyone there?" "Air, air," replied the dark tunnels. "Hello?" he tried. "Low, low, low." "I know there's someone here. I just heard you playing dice." "Ice, ice, ice. Look, I had just—" Two Flower stopped. The reason for this was the bright point of light that had popped into existence a few feet from his eyes. It grew rapidly, and after a few seconds was the tiny bright shape of a man. At this stage it began to make a noise, or rather, Two Flowers started to hear the noise it had been making all along. It sounded like a sliver of a scream, caught in one long instant of time. Oh boy. The iridescent man was doll-sized now, a tortured shape tumbling in slow motion while hanging in midair. That has to be Rincewind. Two Flower wondered why he hadn't thought of the phrase "a sliver of a scream," and began to wish he hadn't. It was beginning to look like Rincewind. The wizard's mouth was open, and his face was brilliantly lit by the light of— what? Strange suns, Two Flower found himself thinking. Suns men don't usually see. He shivered. Now the turning wizard was half man-size. At that point the growth was faster. There was a sudden crowded moment, a rush of air, and an explosion of sound. Rincewind tumbled out of the air, screaming. He hit the floor hard, choked, then rolled over with his head cradled in his arms and his body curled up tightly. When the dust had settled, Two Flower reached out gingerly and tapped the wizard on the shoulder. The human ball rolled up tighter. It's me," explained Two Flower helpfully. It's very helpful. The wizard unrolled a fraction. "What?" he said. "Me." In one movement, Rincewind unrolled and bounced up in front of the little man, his hands gripping his shoulders desperately. His eyes were wild and wide. "Don't say it," he hissed. "Don't say it and we might get out." "Get out? How did you get in? Don't you know? Don't say it." Two Flower backed away from this madman. "Don't say it." "Don't say what?" "The number." "Number?" said Two Flower. "Hey, Rincewind." "Yes, number. Between 7 and 9. 4 plus 4. "What, 8? Rincewind's hands clapped over the man's mouth. "Say it and we're doomed. Just don't think about it, right? Trust me." "I don't understand," wailed Two Flower. Rincewind relaxed slightly, which was to say that he made a violin string look like a bowl of jelly. "Come on," he said. "Let's try and get out. And I'll try and tell you." Oh, are you going to tell me? I want to know. After the first age of magic, the disposal of grimoires began to become a severe problem on the Discworld. A spell is still a spell, even when imprisoned temporarily in parchment and ink. It has potency. This is not a problem while the book's owner still lives, but on his death, the spellbook becomes a source of uncontrolled power that cannot be easily diffused. In short, spellbooks leak magic. Various solutions have been tried. Centuries near the rim simply loaded down the books of dead. I'm sorry, that's not what that says. Countries near the rim simply loaded down the books of dead mages with leaden pentalphus and threw them over the edge. Near the hub, less satisfactory alternatives were available. Inserting the offending books in canisters of negatively polarized octiron and sinking them in the fathomless depths of the sea was one. Burial in deep caves on land was earlier ruled out after some districts complained of walking trees and five-headed cats. I'm not okay with this book. But before long, the magic seeped out, and eventually fishermen complained of shoals of invisible fish, or psychic clams. Psychic clams. How do they communicate their psychicness? A temporary solution was the construction in various centers of magical lore of large rooms made of denatured octiron, which is impervious to most forms of magic. Here the more critical grimoires could be stored until their potency had attenuated. That was how there came to be at Unseen University the Octavo, greatest of all grimoires, formerly owned by the creator of the universe. It was this book that Rincewind had once opened for a bet. He had only a second to stare at a page before setting off various alarm spells, but that was time enough for one spell to leap from it and settle in his memory like a toad in a stone. Oh my god. What the fuck is this book? What the fuck is this book?